Carrie Lukas on the line with us, the managing director of the Independent Women's Forum. IWF.org is the website. Mayor Bloomberg has, in an 8-0 vote, the New York City Board of Health approved Mayor Michael Bloomberg's far-reaching ban on the sale of large sugar-infused, or I would say high-fructose corn syrup-infused beverages in restaurants, fast food joints, delis, movie theaters, athletic venues, and even food carts across the city. And, Carrie, I know you have an opinion on this.
Well, Tom, I'm actually really interested to hear your opinion on this because I was listening to your news prelude, and you talked, all with excitement, and I understand that about the Colorado measure to make marijuana legal.
Yes.
So it seems to me very strange that we would have, hooray, we can all say, get government out of this business. But here we have this assault on, we don't want government telling people whether or not they can have marijuana, but heaven forbid they have a big gulp. I don't understand what the consistency is here, or how you decide which things government should and should not be in charge of banning.
Well, first of all, the Colorado proposal, the Colorado initiative, which has 51% support among the people of that state, so therefore you will see the private prison industry and the tobacco companies coming with millions of dollars to stop it. That's actually get government into the business of marijuana because they want to regulate it like tobacco and alcohol. And those are, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms is a substantial bureaucracy, and they put a lot of work into making sure that underage people don't buy alcohol and that the sale of cigarettes is well regulated and they can only be displayed and advertised in certain ways and all those kind of things. So that's kind of a big government response, Carrie. I'm not, although frankly, I'm more in favor of the Portugal response, which is simply decriminalize everything and just leave it all alone, turn it all into a public health.
What about big gulps? Should we decriminalize big gulps?
Well, yeah, let's talk about big gulps here. First of all, I'm guessing if you walk down the street with a big gulp, you're not going to get arrested. It's the sale of them that is being criminalized. But here are the stats that New York City has laid out, and the mayor has this huge study, and I'm guessing you've probably seen it. It's over at the New York City website. Sugary drink consumption is associated with weight gain in both adults and children. They got 4 different studies on that. Liquid food is processed differently by the body than solids. It produces a larger weight gain than solid food similarly does because it goes through faster. More than half of New York City adults, 58%, are obese. 40% of New York City's public school systems are obese. Sure. 5,000 deaths per year. This is K through 8. 5,000 deaths per year as a result of obesity. And so shorter lifespan. The costs associated just for New York City, this is just New York City, $4.7 billion annual obesity direct related medical costs. $1,500 is the annual cost of obesity to every single New York City household. $1,429 is the increase in medical spending for obese versus normal weight adults, about that $1,500. And then they look at this. People given beverages 50% larger consume 20 to 33% more with no change in the amount of food that they're eating. People given larger portion sizes of food eat 20% more without completely reducing their intake at subsequent meals.
First I'm going to agree with you. Definitely there's a problem in New York. I'm sure there's a lot of people eating a lot of unhealthy things and drinking a lot of unhealthy things. I can come back at you. There's studies that show just how completely inept other government efforts to try to make people thinner, from soda taxes to other regulations to the trans fat bans, that there's very little that shows that government...
Well, trans fat ban is to prevent cancer and heart disease.
Okay, well, fine, but it doesn't change people's behavior. It doesn't change how people eat. People find other ways to get what they want. In the same way, a lot of the cigarette taxes and things end up being,
cigarette taxes demonstrably reduce consumption of cigarettes,
but causing more problems than they solve.
But they don't. The cigarette taxes actually solve a problem.
Okay, so you think that cigarette taxes? As a soda tax,
the tobacco companies would be the first to tell you, Carrie, that when cigarette taxes go up, cigarette consumption goes down. That's why they fight them.
No, but okay. Tom, what we've seen in state after state, the reason why places tax cigarettes is because it's an inelastic demand. People are addicted to cigarettes, and so they're going to buy them one way or another. It creates black markets.
Yeah,
let's
around
not
state
focus
boundaries.
on-
I don't
let's
disagree
focus
with
on
you.
I can tell you don't actually want to talk about the soda ban because it's so patently absurd and frankly insulting. I mean, where is it? You guys, you're supposed to be a good liberal, Tom. How is it that you think that this is, we're supposed to be my body, my choice, and here you are saying that it should be illegal for an adult in New York to have a big gulp? I mean, what is the limits of the state's power if they think that they can come in and tell you how much soda you can drink?
Well, Carrie, I will be the first to tell you that I am ambivalent about this. I could argue either side of this thing, and I think argue it effectively. I really do see both sides of this argument. But here's the thing, just for the sake of this argument, I'll take Mayor Bloomberg's side of this because I think that there is something to be said. Sugary drinks comprise 7% of the average American's diet. That's 140 calories per day, 7%. And that's an average of 15 pounds per year gained just as a consequence of sugary drinks.
Tom, fine. If Americans, we don't eat well. So what do you want? How far are we willing to go? Do we think that the government should require everyone to eat a certain amount of leafy vegetables? Or if you don't want to require them to buy, which now, liberals are fine with forcing people to buy anything. So make us all buy a certain allotment of broccoli, force us to exercise. I mean, where is it that we decide what is government's role in deciding and making decisions?
I think making sure that everybody has health insurance is a completely different thing than forcing people to eat broccoli, first of all. And secondly, the argument that they're making here is that they're spending a fortune because of these big gulp drinks.
Once you get into that, government can justify anything. You could say the same thing about, sex is supposed to be off limits, but they spend a whole lot of money dealing with STDs and with unwanted pregnancies and things like this.
But they're already cracking down on sex for sale.
Your argument is an invitation.
They're already doing that, Carrie. They're already doing that. Prostitution's already illegal in New York City.
Okay, well that's a totally different thing, and and I understand the case for legalization on that end. I just can't imagine why it is that supposed liberals are out there acting for the government to be the biggest scolds and nannies for Americans, really treating us as like infants. It seems as though it's just so strange to me that you would have. If you're supposed to believe in personal freedom, that personal freedom doesn't extend to deciding whether I can have a salty potato chip or have a soda. And, one of the things, there's a lot of evidence that shows that a lot of people who are drinking, overweight people, most obese people, when they're drinking soda, they're already drinking diet soda. And it's this idea that...
Well, the diet sodas, though, trick the brain. They cause you to actually eat more food. Diet sodas do functionally the exact same thing. They cause you to eat more food because they make your pancreas think that there's sugar coming. But the point is that more than 40% of the sugars, the added sugars in our diet, comes from these drinks. And so they've identified this one area where they may be able to save the lives of thousands of people and reduce the cost of the city by millions of dollars.
You actually think that this, by outlawing...
Well, I really don't know. And as I said, I could argue either side of this, but the Bloomberg administration and his...
Why don't we err on the side of freedom, Tom? If we both see that there's two sides to this, why don't we err on the side of actually giving Americans liberty?
Because we've already done that, and we now have a 40% obesity rate in New York City, which we didn't have before the big gulps came along.
So bring in Fuhrer Bloomberg to come in and tell us exactly what we should eat because Americans haven't used.
Well, do you have a better solution?
Pretty frightening. Yes, just let people make their own decisions.
Let people get fat and die.
How fat anyone is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I suppose that's the corporate free market path. Carrie Lukas, IWF.org. You had the last word.